Singapore is further reopening borders as it takes a major step towards living with COVID-19. Travel curbs will be adjusted for 4 locations. Vaccinated travel lanes will be established with Germany and Brunei. Fully inoculated travellers from these countries will be allowed to enter from the 8th of September without having to serve stay-home notice. They can come in for any purpose, but there are conditions. The 21-day travel history of travellers must only comprise their country of departure and/or Singapore. They must also travel on non-stop designated flights. Precautions are also in place. Travellers will have to undergo multiple PCR tests. They must also use the Trace Together app to facilitate contact tracing.
Our connectivity with the rest of the world is essential, if not existential. That is why we need to start reopening. The longer our borders remain closed, the greater the risk of lasting damage to our economy, our livelihoods, and our status as an aviation hub.
At the same time, stay-home notice will be waived for travellers from Hong Kong and Macau. Visitors can now apply for a pass to enter Singapore from next Thursday. They will have to undergo a PCR test on arrival and can go about their activities freely upon testing negative. Similar rules will apply to Singapore citizens, permanent residents and long-term pass holders from this Saturday. They must have spent 21 consecutive days in Hong Kong or Macau. Singapore is making the move due to its high vaccination rate. More than 75% of the population has already been fully vaccinated. Infection numbers have also been slowing. Gwyneth Jo tells us what the vaccinated travel lanes mean.
On 1st of September, people travelling from Brunei and Germany can actually apply, if they are vaccinated, to take a designated flight to Singapore. And this actually means that they enjoy slightly relaxed measures in terms of what they have to go through when they land. Or remember that Brunei and Germany and any other country that will be on this vaccinated travel list in future are actually countries in Singapore's Category 2 of its travel framework that currently have to serve a 7-day stay-home notice on arrival. But under this pilot VTL, as they call it, travellers will enjoy more relaxed measures when they arrive at the airport. After taking an on-arrival test, they'll be able to actually travel to their place of residence or their accommodation by private transport. And their friends and family members can even pick them up from the airport to do their self-isolation. And once their on-arrival test comes back as negative, which is a PCR test, they can go about in Singapore and take part in activities just like any other vaccinated person in Singapore. And that means that they can go to sporting events, they can go to the cinema, they can dine out, they can visit other households, of course adhering to prevailing safe management measures as well. And when they do further testing on day 3 and day 7 on arrival in Singapore, they can just go to a clinic that's on a verified list. Or for Singaporeans, it also means that this is potentially more opportunities to travel. So for example, for Germany, they have actually already opened up unilateral travel from Singapore, which means that Singaporeans travelling to Germany already do not have to serve a quarantine. And this opening up of this vaccinated travel lane means that when they return, if they're vaccinated, if they're on this program, they also don't have to serve a quarantine on arrival. So this actually opens up more opportunities, which means that students can go on exchange programs, businessmen can go visit their facilities or meet their business partners, and even normal people can go and travel for leisure. Although it was pointed out that it may be hard to travel with those who are unvaccinated, especially those who are under the age of 12.
We are moving in a measured manner, starting small with 2 countries and an essential set of safeguards. The safety and well-being of our people will always remain our utmost priority. We will not throw caution to the wind.
Restrictions for inbound travellers will be differentiated depending on the vaccination rate and level of pandemic control in their countries or regions. They will be grouped into 4 categories as Singapore progressively reopens borders. In the first category, travellers from places including most of mainland China, New Zealand and Taiwan can enter Singapore without quarantine in their on-arrival PCR tests are negative, if they are. Hong Kong and Macau will join this group tomorrow. Those from China's Jiangsu province, as well as Australia, Canada, Germany and Brunei, will fall under Category 2. Travellers from these places will undergo a 7-day quarantine at their accommodation of choice. The vaccinated travel lanes are open only to 2 countries in this category. Travellers from other countries or regions will have to be quarantined for 14 days. Those from places including Belgium, Denmark, Japan and Luxembourg, which fall into Category 3, can apply to stay elsewhere if they are fully vaccinated. Otherwise, they will have to stay at dedicated facilities. Meanwhile, a travel ban is still in place for visitors from Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
Travellers who are fully vaccinated overseas will also get a tamper-proof sticker on their passports. Now, this allows them to verify their vaccination status and makes them eligible for differentiated measures. The move takes effect from tomorrow night. Now, to get this sticker, they must produce a valid English language vaccination certificate to immigration officers upon arrival. Singapore is enhancing its IT systems by September so that the Safe Entry Biz app will also recognise travellers through their apps and tokens without needing to go through pre-event testing.
Singapore Airlines will launch 5 flights a week from Germany to Singapore under the Vaccinated Travel Lane or VTL arrangement. Each flight can take more than 250 passengers. The first one will take off on the 7th of September. Those who want to travel under the scheme must book the correct VTL flight or they'll face the prevailing quarantine restrictions in Singapore. Singapore Airlines also says that should the travel arrangement be suspended, customers will get a refund and cancellation fees will be waived. Travellers who've already booked their trip but don't meet the VTL requirements may take another flight.